let's start right now, I guess. Okay. So,
Jump straight into it.
yeah, let's jump straight into it. I've never done a podcast stream before, so it's definitely a new experience for me. Let's just start off with that. So, this is the first podcast stream ever. So, if you guys are here, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it a lot. Um, right now, for this episode, well, let's start off talking about us a little bit, right? Before we jump into the actual podcast episode. I'm Scott. I am the creator of the channel Dreamlet, which is a YouTube channel. That's probably how you guys know me. I'm also a video creator for like other YouTube channels that I created as well, but I'll just leave it at that, and then you guys can introduce yourselves.
Okay. I'm Johnny. You might know me as Black Bear or Quiet Bear as well. I do stream on Twitch occasionally. My channel is named Black Bear.
He's the Among Us master. He teaches everyone how to play better.
Yeah. So yeah, that's who I am.
My name is Jimmy. As you guys may know, I don't know anything about these things because I work on cars. That's what I do. Been doing so for the last 7 years. So that's who I am.
Awesome. Okay, so the background is us three. We decided to do a podcast. We're just gonna do it for 5 episodes, see how it goes. If we like it, we're gonna keep going. But I think it's a good idea to just commit to like fewer, just in case one of us isn't feeling it, or we learn that it's not something we're into. So that's the context. All of us, we've known each other since 3rd grade. That's another thing that's really big to this episode. But yeah, let's go ahead and officially start this episode. Give me a second. Okay.
Guys, 3rd grade was a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so this is going to be the Dreamlet podcast. The next season, we're going to do 5 episodes, and they're going to be about sort of trying to answer this question that we have. Does our past determine our future? So we're going to look into our past quite a lot. Right now I have with me my friends, Johnny and Jimmy. We're childhood friends. We've been friends since 3rd grade. And let's figure out who we are as people, how we grew up. So I don't know how many people actually live in California or SoCal, but we all grew up near a place called like Rosemead or Monterey Park, right? Where did you guys live exactly in terms of like the city name?
I actually was the one that lived furthest. I lived in Almani, and I went to school in Rosemead. So that's
yeah. So Rosemead was where I officially lived, but I think most of our friends just call it the Monterey Park area.
Or 626.
Yeah, or 66.
SGV, whatever. SG. I don't know.
Yeah, but as you guys can see, we're all Asian American. We're all Vietnamese, right? Because I'm part Vietnamese.
Yes, I'm Viet.
And then I'm also part Chinese. I don't know if you guys have any Chinese that right?
I am also a quarter Chinese.
Quarter Chinese.
I don't think I am.
Okay. So that's just like basic background about us. But like, do you guys have anything that you want to share, just so the audience gets to know you guys better? Because at least for me, I have like a YouTube channel, and I've already made an episode where I sort of told my background and stuff. So, yeah.
Jimmy, I'll let you go first. Who do you want?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, like, you want to like tell us about like how we grew up, or
yeah, like what was family life like? I guess that's because that's a big one, right? Family life, I feel, affects your childhood quite a lot. I can get into mine too afterwards, but what was that like?
Right. I don't know how to exactly say it, but of course, I am the first generation here. My parents immigrated here.
Yeah,
back
same.
In the late 80s, early 90s. So, and I was born here. I was the first one born here. So, yeah, it was.
I think we all have that in common, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, we all had. Yeah.
Our parents were all immigrants, and We're the firstborn in America.
So we're first gens,
Yeah.
American first gens. Yeah. So that was, and yeah, yeah. Family life was okay. You know, mom and dad were like, "Hey, you go to school and you get good grades and get a good job." Okay. And you know, we all went to school and we did the best we could, and
Yeah.
you know, and I've always had an interest in anything mechanical, anything, especially cars. I always had something towards cars. It just, I don't know. I was just born with it ever since I was like a little toddler. I would literally, you know, my mom would catch me, walk out and like touch the car. I'm like, oh, car.
Yeah. So you're basically on enforcing the idea of past. Your past was like filled with what you're doing right now in the future, which is like cars. Sorry,
Yeah.
Belle is like bothering me right now. She's like giving me this ball. I'm so sorry. Also, DDR Mario said, maybe that might be Dr. Mario said, some people call it Gen Zero.
Yeah, Gen Zero.
But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, for my family life, it was me, my sister, and then my parents. We lived in like a pretty small house, but we also lived next to our cousins. So it's not like I was ever bored or anything. Because it was, I would just go over to my grandma's house and just play with my cousins a lot, or sometimes play with my sister. I feel like my sister and I, when we were younger, we would always sort of not bully each other, but you know how siblings are. I don't know. Like we would just fight with each other a lot, especially because my family or like my parents didn't have like a great. Can you guys hear Belle? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
A little bit, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
it's really cute bark.
Scott, what's the age gap between you and your sister? I forgot.
3 years. 3 years.
3 years? Okay.
Yeah. So my parents weren't exactly on like great terms at the time I was growing up. They ended up, divorcing around 8th grade. Before that, actually, like 7th grade. So I would hear them fight like all the time. So I feel like that was one big thing in my past that I'll probably bring up a lot. Yeah. Anything notable in your family life, Johnny, growing up?
So growing up, yeah, my family came from Vietnam. I was actually born over on the East Coast in Maryland.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I moved over to California when I was young and grew up in Rosemead first. And then eventually moved to Monterey Park in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, my family wasn't exactly like as tight as other families. I mean, every family fights, right? But yeah, we just weren't really that close. But I mean, now we have good relationships, so
That's good.
happy for that. But it was rough too, especially during my high school years. Growing up, I got in trouble a lot for playing video games. I'm really addicted to video games. But I was also really into sports, especially motorsports. And yeah, but right now I'm doing nothing related to any of that.
Yeah, but motorsports is what brought me and Johnny together.
Yeah, you two would always talk about cars and stuff like that, and NASCAR.
Yeah, it was mostly NASCAR. We were really into NASCAR. We always talked about Jeff Gordon and
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good segue. Let's talk about how we met.
Yeah.
So 3rd grade. So we went to the school. It's called Emerson. This elementary school called Emerson. I feel like I had fond memories of Emerson overall because I enjoyed my time there. I lived super close to Emerson. Like, do you guys remember? Yeah, you guys remember, right? There were like 5 houses away.
Dude, you live like half a block, not even half a block.
Yeah.
Right there,
Yeah, so I would like always see all of our friends going home, and like everyone knew where I lived. But back in the day, you don't really care about that because, yeah, we're just kids. But yeah, we met in 3rd grade. I don't think we had the same teachers. We just like met during recess. And And I know this might be hard to believe, but like when I was a kid, I'm nothing. I was wild, crazy, and angry all the time. That's how I was back then.
Yeah, me and Scott, when we first met each other, we weren't exactly friendly. We were like making fun of each other a lot at the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like I feel like a lot of my friends that are like good friends now, we had a pretty rough relationship in the beginning. Like one of our friends, AC, like we might use aliases for some friends and not use aliases for other friends just because some of them we still know.
Yeah.
And they prefer not to be named. But like AC, I remember. I mean, I'll tell the story eventually on my YouTube channel because I want to make like an animated short story about it just for fun. But like, I in 6th grade, I thought he was talking behind my back, right, in class, like, and they're like laughing and stuff like that. I feel like everyone has that feeling at one point in their life, like that person's talking about me. And then literally when the bell rang for recess, I went up to him and punched him in the back and he started crying. and I just like, I straight up just said, don't talk about me. And then I ran off after that. I never got in trouble for it either. But like, for some reason, we became like best friends after that. Like, I have no idea why. It made no sense.
I don't remember this at all, but
this was in Whitehead, so you weren't there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of jumped from 3rd grade to 6th grade, but like me and Johnny, we would just make fun of each other all the time. I'd be like, "What's up, Johnny Bravo?" And then like pass by him, like maybe he was playing handball or something, and I would like hit the ball out of his way.
Damn you, Scotty the hottie.
Yeah, I remember me and Scott didn't get along either when we first met. Like, I honestly did not like Scott.
What? Okay, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. Tell me about this.
Because I remember I would hang out with one of our friends. I'm not going to use an alias, but his name is Tuan. Me and Tuan were very, very close at the time. It was 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And we always, me and Tuan always hung out. We always talked about stuff. And
Wait,
then
hold
Scott
up.
would just...
Hold up, dude. I hung out with Tuan too, like in 3rd grade, like all the time.
Yeah. And then you would come in and intervene. And like criticize me of what I was talking about. It was like, oh, what?
Wait, really?
What?
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. Like,
yeah.
what did I say? What did I say?
Like you would correct what I would say. Like if I said like a certain word, you're like, nope. You would use another word. I don't know how.
Oh yeah, dude, I did that all the time. Like, it was like much and many. I would always correct people if they used like the wrong one. Like I have too many pain or something. Like it should be I have too much pain, right? So I would say it's much, not many. My mom always did that to me, and that's why I did that to other people. So
yeah, and when you did that to me, I was like, man, this guy is such a snobby. Like I was so angry all the time whenever you came along.
I'm pretty sure I said it in a very sassy way too. I was like, it's not much, it's many.
Very, very sassy.
Straightforward.
But the funny thing is that I always thought of you as a very smart person. I always thought Scott was smart, always. And
thanks,
I never
dude.
thought of myself that way. And I don't know how, but yeah, it just... we became good friends. I don't know how. I think it's because of Johnny.
I think it was 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah.
So 3rd grade, apparently we were all adversaries, or I don't know about you two, like, but I guess everyone had problems with me. Maybe it's just me. Causing all the issues, like hitting people, yelling, getting in their way, correcting them, being rude to them.
Scott was a snob, man. I was like, man, this guy's he's a pain in my,
Yeah, 3rd grade.
But
I'm telling you, man. I know people. It's like a cliche, but like, it's totally all the pent up energy from like my parents arguing all the time and yelling.
Yeah. Now I know. I didn't know at the time. Damn, this kid's snobby, but he's smart. He's like the smartest kid in the class, so I'm not gonna mess with him.
Wait, did you have Mr. Siegel or?
I had Miss Pham with Johnny.
Gotcha.
Or Miss Barozzi.
Yeah, me and Swan had Mr. Siegel. And that's why we were like, we were good friends. So Johnny asked us if both of us were in Emerson like 1st and 2nd grade as well.
I was at Emerson since preschool. Started there,
Oh, nice.
preschool. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't start there in preschool.
yeah. Well, when did you start, Scott? Because I don't remember
First
seeing
grade.
you until
First grade.
really.
Hmm.
don't
I had
remember
Miss
seeing you at
Burns.
all.
Miss Burns in first grade.
Oh, you were next door. I had Miss what's her name? Miss Idarola. She was next door.
Yeah. And then I think second grade I had Mrs. Lee.
I was also next door. I had Miss Tran. Yeah, I had Miss Tran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Miss Tran. She was a fun teacher, and that's where I met one of Johnny and I's friends,
Yeah.
Linda. That's where I met her.
I think second grade was also when I met more of our eventual fifth grade friends, like Stephen B and stuff like that. I remember this one time after class, because we both had like this after school daycare type of thing. You know, you remember those bungalow type things where like it was always a ramp afterwards. So
Yeah.
we got out of the classroom, I got in a ramp, and then he literally went outside the door, and then we were leveled at the same spot. He was on the ramp, I was on the floor, and then we were both heading to the daycare. For some reason, we just stopped, looked at each other, like just stared, no words whatsoever. And then we started just running towards the daycare, like trying to race each other to see who would get there first. It was hilarious. That was like a fun moment with
Dude, that was
Steven.
that was most of elementary school. We always raced everywhere, and of course, I would always lose because I was the fat kid. I was the fat kid, man. I never won any race, but hey, I still ran.
Yeah, I would love racing in elementary school. That's fun.
most kids, and then we'll all do the freaking like, the freaking Dragon Ball run or something. No,
You mean Naruto run?
Naruto run. There we go. Everyone just that makes you run faster, you know.
Yeah. I think that was mostly in fifth grade. But yeah, let's talk about fourth grade, because that's when all of us were in the same class, right?
Yeah, fourth grade was kind of a special. I guess you can say a
Yeah,
special
Miss
year
Nguyen.
because
Well, we call her
there were-
Miss Nguyen, but like I guess that's the wrong pronunciation.
Yeah. But that was a combination class. Remember, it was fourth and fifth graders
Yeah.
in one class.
Yeah. That was
And
a great experience.
yeah, I remember that class very vividly because I remember one side we had 12 desks or something for the fourth graders, and then this
Yeah.
side was fifth graders.
That was fun.
And,
that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Like,
fun.
Go ahead.
That was something that I feel like we needed more of in elementary school, because if you're like just like one grade, like you're stuck with the same people all the time. Especially, I don't know if you feel this, Scott. Like you were like Miss Whitehead was like fourth,
Third-
fifth, and
yeah,
sixth
yeah,
grade.
yeah.
So yeah, I feel like you're more exposed to like people, so it's like get to meet more people. It's cool.
It's true. I thought fourth, fifth, and sixth were the best in terms of the classes. I mean, fifth wasn't special in that way, but fourth for sure, because like we met Hugo, Hien, Betty. Those are like three names I remember very well. But like there's a lot of fifth graders while we were fourth graders, and we would talk to them and hang out with them, which is not something you would normally do. So exposure to like other grades was a big change. It was nice. It was very nice.
Yeah. That was-
I felt like a cool kid because I was hanging out with.
Yeah,
fifth
yeah,
graders.
yeah.
I was like, it's like I'm hanging out with the fifth graders, man. I'm not hanging out with you.
You,
know,
you
I was
guys
kidding.
remember when we would play like, dude, I don't remember any like actual studying or homework or class work or anything like that. All I remember are like us playing, you know?
Really? I guess maybe because the stuff was too easy for you, so you don't remember.
Like I said,
I-
Scott was
no,
smart,
no, what?
man.
No, that is not what I said at all. Okay.
But we could work it towards that way.
Scott was one of those kids that would finish his homework in class.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that at all in elementary school. Just saying, okay?
Really?
You guys are putting words into my mouth. I have no idea where this is coming from. Okay. But I do remember this one time I got a paper cut and like Miss Nguyen was helping me like fix it or something. And she would apply pressure to it, and I was like, it felt so cold and so terrible, and I'm like, are you sure you're supposed to do this? Because like I felt like the blood was coming out faster, and I was like, why is this happening? But that was a weird moment. And also you guys remember, I think there might have been like a hurricane or something at one point, and then
Did we lose?
we
did
did
lose
like
power?
donations or something. Do you guys remember that?
Oh.
Donations.
I think that was Hurricane Katrina. I think it was during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, like,
Katrina.
right there.
But
Oh yeah.
I remember we were doing like snack booths or something, and then she asked for donations, and my mom donated like, I forgot how much. I think it might have been like $50 or $100,
Mhm.
and then she told me I could take any snack that I wanted, like as much as I wanted, and I literally took one thing, and only one thing, and then like later, like I took a candy for my cousin because I wanted to show off that I could like take it for free. But that's all I did, just two things, even though she said I could take as much as I wanted. So I was
You
like,
could
wow.
take all of it you want. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I think I was more scared of like looking greedy than I was like being restrained and polite, you know?
Okay. Wow, that's. I don't know. As a kid, I wouldn't have that. Like, I would just take it all.
I would have taken the whole table. Like, all right,
Yeah, in front of everyone. I don't know about that, man.
Scott. I just remembered something. You always had a roll around backpack, right?
Yeah, because at least in elementary school, because my mom would always be like, it's better for your back.
Yeah, I remember that vividly, and I remember it. I was so envious of you because I didn't have a roller backpack. I was like, Scott always has a roller backpack. I was like, I want one, and it's the cool one. It's not like some random one too. It's a cool one where like it's like a single post that goes down, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I remember that, and it was like I was so envious. I was like, I really want
That's
one.
that's a funny thing to remember.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember I used to like one of my friends. I used to kick his bag.
What?
I was a jerk to him. So you know how you'd walk in a single file line, and those stupid roller backpacks would like be right behind you.
Yeah.
And if you were behind that person, you're just like, I'm just gonna kick his bag, or I just
Wow.
It just looks so kickable.
yeah. So I kicked it, and yeah, he would get mad. But yeah, roller backpacks, and then I finally got one. I finally got one. I think in the 5th grade or something.
Yeah, I think I thought the opposite. I thought like carry around backpacks were cooler.
Really?
Yeah, at least I know for sure in 7th grade because like I really wanted one. In 7th
It's
grade.
always what you don't have that you desire. Right?
That's funny, dude. Because I wanted the roller. I was like, I want a roller. I feel like a peasant carrying a backpack.
What? But you guys remember Mr. Lee? How we would play kickball, like our class against theirs or something?
Oh yeah, and we always beat.
Oh,
Yeah, we always
my
beat him.
God.
I love that. That was like so fun. I don't know, like
I remember he would jump in and play, and he's a big guy. He was huge, and he would kick that ball. And I remember I went running like for a long time. And dude, yeah,
that was fun, so fun. Like whenever Mr. Lee came up to kick, all of us, everyone would like scoot back
up.
at least
back.
10 feet,
Yeah.
probably more.
and then of course he outsmarted us and kicked it like all soft, so we all had to run to get it because we thought he was gonna kick it far. Oh man, dude, you brought up a memory that I totally forgot about. Mr. Lee. Yeah,
Those were really fun times. I mean, like we also had an advantage since we had 5th graders on our team, so they were like slightly bigger.
that's true.
But
I always sucked at kickball.
I love
I
kickball.
always
Kickball
suck.
was so fun.
You guys were good at it. I was just that fat kid that wasn't good at anything. It sucked. But
Did you guys ever get to like school early and like play shadow tag?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was always like right next to Miss Nguyen's like classroom, right? At that
Yeah,
end.
That was funny.
I don't remember Shadow Tag. What?
Oh man.
Like, we were so creative back then. Holy crap! I don't think I would
Yeah.
come up with that now. But our class was like at a corner, so then in the morning we'd get like sunshine coming down on one direction, and it would like cast a shadow,
Yeah.
and that would be like the safe zone for this tag game. And then instead of like tagging people like you do physically, you would just like step on their shadow, and that's how like
Okay, I kind of remember it now. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing that, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We would play tag so much, actually. That was like one of the big games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tag.
Fifth grade.
Mr. Lamore's class.
Yeah.
That was
I wanna-
a very good class.
I think the segue for this one, at least in fifth grade, do you remember how like we did this big, I don't know if you guys were playing, but we did this like big boys versus girls thing. It was in recess, so it wasn't like PE, but I remember I was like one of the last ones, and I managed to get to save everyone, but like I said something to the person that was tagging me, and I think they misheard me saying like I give up or something like that. But I didn't say that at all. I was just like, I'm tired. I don't know if I can do this, something like that. And then like, you know, I juked her and then saved everyone basically. And then they got so mad that they thought I was cheating and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everyone thinks I'm a cheater now or something, in tag. But it was so fun back then, like freeze tag.
Freeze tag was fun. What was the other one where we played hide and seek too? That was really fun. I thought that was fun. And then do you remember how our playground had a sand pit at first, and then
Yeah, and then it
they put in a
changed.
new- Yeah,
I think
I remember.
I like both of them, but I wish they kept certain parts of them. Like those 2 bars, that thing was fun. But then they like completely removed it. You remember
Yeah.
those 2 long bars where
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
where we would do races and stuff like that? That was like super fun.
Do you remember the swing set, the old one? Like it was
tall.
epic. It was tall. Like you can get really, really high, and we used to jump off it all the time. And of course, the yard lady was to come over and like, stop.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
jumping. You're gonna hurt yourself. So I'm like, come on, man. Dude, that was fun. And then I remember when they put in the new playground. You know how they put that soft stuff on the floor
Mhm.
so you don't hurt
Yeah,
yourself.
the rubber mats. Yeah.
Do you remember how hot that thing got?
Yeah.
Dude, I remember like falling and like, dude, and if you landed on it, dude, it would burn. Like, oh, it hurt.
I think I prefer the sand in that case. Like,
Yeah, I prefer the sand too.
yeah. You remember when it rained? It literally looked like a lake. Yeah, every single
Yeah.
time. That was always fun to just look at it.
And they always put up the caution tape. Like, nope,
Yeah.
can't go in till this thing drains.
So what made Mr. Lamore's class so great? Because I honestly think 5th grade was one of the best out of the 1 through 6 for sure.
I honestly think Mr. Lamore was a very, very good teacher. He was,
Academically or
yeah, like he would make learning not dreadful. He would make it fun. Remember, we used to sing songs.
oh, dude, spelling bees. You remember?
I remember we have spelling contests all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, that was fun.
And the cool thing was that his class, I remember so well that he had a currency. So if you got
Oh
a certain
yeah,
grade,
yeah. The currency.
you had a certain grade on your test, you get, however many Mr. Lamore dollars, or what I'm gonna call it, Mr. Lamore dollars. And he would have, like, in the back of the classroom, he would have this shelf, which I was always staring at because I sat in the back. I always stared at the shelf. He had VHS tapes of movies that you can borrow for the weekend.
Mhm.
And you have to pay a certain amount of Mr. Lamore dollars. And also you could buy candy from him with those Mr. Lamore dollars. When I say dollars, he didn't actually print out dollars. He actually just gave us tickets.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
But yeah, like, this will cost you 5 tickets. If you want to rent this movie, it's going to cost you 15 tickets.
And then at the end, like there was like this end of the year prize with the tickets, and whoever had
Yeah.
like the most or something got like $40 or something. Was it 40? I think it was $40, right?
Yeah, and then I remember you got a kaleidoscope.
Yeah. It was so
Yeah.
it was first was Ezekiel, second I think it was Chris, and then third was me. So I would have taken the $40, but then I was the first to actually get like a prize that wasn't like actual money, and then I got the kaleidoscope.
Do you guys want to see my prize? I still have it.
You still have it?
I'm staring at it right
Yo,
now.
I'm
It's
down.
on my shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, show it to
grab
us.
it real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll wait for Jimmy for this one, but like, how we would all get like jobs, to get tickets?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so there was like a line leader. That was one of the jobs. Line
Oh,
leader was
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then another job was like um something about homework.
Um,
Bring it up
Out of
closer.
all the things I picked,
Trails of Angeles.
I didn't pick it because of the book. I only picked it because of the something that was in the back of here. I wanted the freaking map, dude.
Ah.
As a kid, I was obsessed with maps. I love looking at maps, and I love tracing maps, and I love like it's just I loved anything that was about geography and astronomy. Because Mr. Lamore really, he was really into those things. I remember I got really into astronomy in his class and
Yeah, yeah.
geography because he made it fun, and I was like, man, like this is awesome. Yeah,
So
we would always yeah.
um the reason I remember line leader so much was because Mr. Lamore would not let me do that job. That was the only job he would not let me do. He he was like, "Oh no, Scott's too quiet. Like he's not going to reinforce the line or something like that." And that
Yeah.
was the one that paid some of the most tickets. And I would have gotten like second or first in terms of the amount of tickets at the very end if it weren't for that, because I was declined the most paid job in his class. And it was so sad. I was like, I would totally reinforce that line. It's crazy because, like, you know, people, the girls in our class were line leaders as well. Like pretty much everyone got to be line leaders except for me.
I got to be a line leader once, one time, and that was it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, he cycled through pretty much everyone, except for me. So I was like, I felt so, I don't know, I just felt so alone or like, segregated, I guess.
You felt so left out, like
Yeah,
ah,
left out. Um,
yeah. And I just remember something else. I remember Mr. Lamore made Halloween fun. Remember he had an event. You can it was a whole entire event, and in his classroom, you can do bobbing for apples. I remember that.
oh
Do you remember
yeah,
bobbing
oh
for
yeah,
apples?
yeah.
The holiday
was-
parties. Yeah.
Yeah, the holiday parties
Yeah.
were fun. And I don't know. I
Dude,
love
you're
Mr.
mentioning
Lamore.
so much that I remember, but like it's way back in my head, because
Yeah.
I remember like a visceral feeling of really really loving that class, but I don't remember like every
Yeah.
single memory in terms of. I mean, now it's coming back because you keep mentioning it, but like, yeah, those are some good times.
Dude,
Yeah.
it was fantastic times, and I don't know. I just remember that year so well. And then I remember I went to Vietnam and for a month, and I came back. I had chicken pox,
Oh my gosh.
and yeah, he gave me assignments to do while I was over in Vietnam, and of course I didn't do them.
Yeah.
So I got into a bunch of trouble. You know, I had to talk to the principal. I had to do this.
Oh,
and that.
man.
But again, Mr. Lamore, he never got mad, dude. He never got mad.
Yeah,
And
yo.
he basically just walked me through the assignments, and he's like, "Okay, you're
Yo,
good."
yo, yo, you guys remember that one day where like literally everyone in the classroom had checks? Like checks was a bad thing. You remember that check system where like if we have two checks or something, we're benched?
Okay, now I remember.
Yeah, that one day where like there was a sub or something the previous days or something, and then they didn't check our homework. So he literally thought nobody did their homework, and then everybody had to check on their name or something like that. So it was crazy. That was like a really bad day for everyone, I feel, because like we were all so scared or something. Like everyone's name was on the board. We're all like in trouble.
Yeah, we always wanted to stay off that board, like the whiteboard,
Yeah,
because it was like shameful because you're staring right at it. You're like, my name is there with the check
yeah.
mark.
I mean, to be fair, everyone's name was on that board at one point. So
Yeah, even mine. You know, even I was a good kid, like a very very goody two shoe.
yeah, I think the only time my name was ever on that board was during that mistake, and I felt so bad. I felt like my world had just ended because my name is on the board. I have like 3 checks or something.
Your perfect record is
Exactly,
gone.
my perfect record has been tainted forever. But we ended up like, you know, getting that sorted out. So
Wait, Scott, didn't you always have a perfect attendance?
no, I missed one day, I believe. I had
Yeah,
like
I think you
a
missed one day.
high fever or something, and I think that 5th grade day was literally the only day I ever missed in elementary school.
Well, it helps when you're only half a block away from the school, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
That's true. I live 9 miles from school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was far from me.
Also, speaking of punishments, I remember like the tally marks of that class where every time we interrupted him, he would like put tally marks, and if we got to like 15 or something, we would all get like detention for recess. You guys remember that?
Oh, man,
Yeah, I mean, those are the
that.
checks. Those are the checks I mentioned.
I thought it was like no, there were checks for like individuals, but then
Right,
there was
right.
a tally mark for the entire class.
Oh, gotcha.
And he would hold us. He would not let us go to recess. He's just like, nope. And he would just look at his watch.
Everyone
He'll look at
goes
his
to
watch.
Did we ever get to that point?
Yeah, we did.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Because we
but-
wouldn't stop talking. The whole class just kept talking and talking and talking, and no one would just,
You know, one
quiet.
thing. Okay, one thing that I didn't like about Mr. Lamore's class that I'm gonna mention, he made the kids that, I mean, it makes sense, but he made the kids that needed the most help and put them in the front. You know. Yeah, and then like in the back, or supposedly the people who are smarter don't need as much help. But like he pointed that out, which is the thing that was sort of the bad part, because you
Dude.
feel what's up?
He put me in the back.
You feel
I was all the way in the back. And you know what? I was blind. I
oh
couldn't see
dude.
the board. I was like,
So
see.
so apparently during that time, this is a funny story, but when I took an eye test at the optometrist when I was a kid, and we had to like memorize these lines of sentences or whatever, they thought I couldn't read properly because I was scanning through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was they said they were going to test me afterwards. So what I did was look at the key points and like look at them like continuously to try to memorize them. So the machine thought my reading was like all whack because of that. And I tried to explain that, but for some reason they're like, okay, I think he can't read properly or whatever. And then also my vision wasn't the greatest. I was supposed to wear glasses. I never did. But so then my mom told Mr. Lamore, and then they put me in the front of the class, even though technically I was supposed to be in the back. So I also felt like embarrassed because of that.
that's why I stayed in the back. I was like, should I tell him I can't see? No, I want to be in the back. I want to be the smart kid. I'm gonna hang out in the back. Forget it.
Yeah.
But I remember where Scott sat. He sat right in the middle of the classroom, facing the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I can draw the layout for you guys, but the front of his class was literally like two
Like a
L
bowl.
shapes.
Yeah. Like
And
a
then
bowl.
in the back, it would have six tables.
Six tables.
Groups of six. Groups of six in the back, split up in three. 3 groups of 6. Sorry.
Yeah, 3x2 setups basically.
Yeah, and Scott sat right in the middle of the the L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I do believe we changed up the whole seating arrangement at one point.
Yeah, he changed it all the time.
Yeah, because I remember Ashley and we sat next to each other at one point. I don't know if you guys remember this, but for some reason we kept arguing with each other.
Oh.
And then
She's very
Mr. Lamore
argumentative.
was like, "Okay, you two need to be separated." he didn't give us checks. He kind of laughed about it for some reason, but like for some reason me and Ashley just couldn't sit next to each other because we would just argue with each other. It was so weird. I don't even know.
Actually, it was very.
I don't
Ashley was
remember.
very argumentative.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was about, but like, it was funny. Yeah, there's so many memories in that class.
Yeah. And that was the class. I'm gonna mention her name. Is me and Lonnie were really close. You guys remember Lonnie, right?
Yeah, I do.
This was the last year before she moved to Colorado.
Yeah. She moved that year.
Yeah.
I remember like I made her cry in 4th grade because we were playing something, and then, or was it 5th grade? It was 4th or 5th, but I remember we were playing something, and then I was shouting and be like, "Why'd you let the ball pass you?" or something, and then she cried about it, and then I got in trouble because of it. We had a sub or something, but they told me not to like be so aggressive or something.
So that pent up energy, man.
I wasn't like trying to be mean to her. I was just like trying to like rally up the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, Lamore's class, I remember us like doing sports too, right?
Yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to mention because that was one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, I think that brought a lot of people together.
Yeah, dude, if I feel like a good study of good elementary school teachers is Mr. Lamore right there. Like, I just realized this, and it's an epiphany right here. Because if every class were like that, it would have been so interesting every single year,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Oh man! And you know what? Do you remember that we would go to Miss Rito's class for
Yeah, I remember that.
history, and then her class would come to our class for science because Mr. Lamore was a huge science. He was a very dude. I love science, and he made science so interesting. But anyways, I remember going to Miss Rito's class, and she was such a she was mean. Okay.
Yeah, I remember she had two different voices. It was so interesting. Like the first time I ever heard her, she was so nice. She was like talking like a nice granny or something. And then whenever Miss Lane came in, she would talk with this super rough voice, like, "Hey, what's up? Like, how was your weekend?" Blah blah blah. Like it was so interesting.
Dude,
it was so interesting.
Miss Lane. I remember Miss. I never had Miss Lane, but she is a cool teacher, man. She even had a couch in her classroom. Remember that?
I wasn't in her class, but my sister was. She thought she was cool.
Yeah, none of us had her, but man, she had she would always have her doors open during recess or whatever, and if you looked in, and you'll see a couch. I was like, damn, her classroom has a couch. That's so cool,
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, Miss Rito was completely opposite. She was mean. She yelled at me. I don't know what. I think I was up next to do something. I was up next to trace the map of the United States. I remember this because I still remember it till this day. And it was my turn next, and she skipped me. She made the next person go. And I was like, wait, I'm next. What's going on here? And then she screamed at me, dude. She screamed at me. She's like, fine, if you want to go next, you go next. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
I
remember being very scared of her.
Yeah. And you know what else she did? She's also good friends with Miss Whitehead. And Miss Whitehead, she has a ranch, if I remember correctly. And Miss Whitehead would give Miss Rito her horse manure.
Okay, interesting.
Like, big garbage bags. Because remember, Miss Rito, she liked growing stuff. Yes. And I remember we had this thing where she was, I forgot what kind of worm it was. Some sort of worm. I forgot, silkworms? I think it was silkworms. Yeah. She had a big old barrel full of silkworms. And of course she had to feed it fertilizer. So she would make Miss Whitehead bring horse poop, basically, to her classroom and put it in there. And guess who had to carry that bag of horse crap?
You?
She made me, Miss Rito told me to go get that bag of horse crap from Miss Whitehead's class and bring it over here. And then once I was done, take that bag and bring it back to Miss Rito. Dude, my hands smelled like horse poop for the rest of the day.
Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that.
She hated me. I don't know why. Yeah. I remember that, dude. She made me carry a bag of horse crap. I was like, what? But yeah, she didn't like me.
Yeah, those were good times. Fifth grade was such an interesting year for sure. I think that's when we got the closest. I feel because like we always played together, we always interacted together, like we talked whenever we could in class. I think we were us three and Lakana were the only Asians in that class. I remember this distinctly because I noticed it. I was like, yeah, we're the only Asians, and then every other guy was Hispanic or some other race, right? So yeah, it was just something I noted, and I guess it made me feel closer to you guys for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Subliminally, I guess, because like back then I didn't really care that much, like whether someone was Asian or not. But it felt like we were the closest then. I feel like that's when we started like saying I don't even know where it came about, but that's when we started saying like we were the Three Musketeers or whatever. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I think that was It was from 5th grade too. But yeah, I don't remember why. But Three Musketeers.
Yeah, that's
I think it was from me, because I had read the book The Three Musketeers.
Okay.
fair enough. Considering I've never exposed myself to any medium of Three Musketeers.
Yeah, I read the book in the
Other than the
library. I remember
chocolate.
we specifically went to the school library. If you guys remember that, it was right next to Miss Lane's classroom.
Yeah.
The librarian, she was a sweet lady. I don't remember her name. She was always nice to me. But yeah, I read the Three Musketeers in there. I was like, I'm bored. I have nothing to. I was going to read this, and then when we came together, I was like, hey, 1, 2, 3, Three Musketeers.
Oh, we finally know why. Like, there's the origin story right there. That's funny.
Yeah, that was.
At least we
That's
know
how it came along. 'Cause I think
Sorry, what, Johnny?
At least we know it's not from the candy bar.
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. No, definitely not. But yeah, I remember me and Johnny were spaghetti and meatballs because he was skinny, he's the spaghetti, and then I'm the meatball because I'm the fat one. And then I was like, man, I feel bad leaving Scott out of this. So I came up with that. I came up with the Three Musketeers. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's how it came along, and I had just read the book Three Musketeers. So I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, thanks for including me. Like, you made me feel included, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I felt bad, man.
Yeah,
I was like, man.
despite our rough beginnings.
Oh yeah, very rough beginnings, but again, I think the 5th grade really brought us closer together because we would play sports together all the time. We would always spend time with each other, and
Yeah, it was fun. Like, I feel like everyone was friends. I don't remember anyone in our grade like ever doing anything.
hating each other.
Yeah. We all just like, at least in my world, we were all getting along really well.
Yeah.
We would always
And
play.
of course, Yep.
Yeah, I remember my cousin
and
came by one day and we were just playing football, and that was like super fun.
and you two really got into football that year because remember, Mr. Lamore was a big football guy.
Yeah.
And that's when we started
Yo.
playing. We started playing flag football.
Yeah.
We had to rip the flags off.
That was super fun.
Dude, that was
A
fun,
memory
but
just-
I sucked at it.
A memory just popped into my head, Johnny, and it involves me and you. I don't know if you remember this, but I back then when we split up into teams and you were against me, there was this moment where I forgot who the quarterback was. I mean, like, it was mainly either Ezekiel or like Steven R or
Ezekiel.
something. But
Yeah.
Ezekiel.
But I remember you were in front of me. The ball was coming to me. It was supposed to go to me. And I remember I pushed you and then I got the ball and then made it to the end. And then
Yeah.
you're like, no, that's a foul. That's a foul. And I was like, you're telling me how you're telling everyone I pushed you. And I was like, no, I didn't push you. What are you talking about? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember this now.
That was hilarious.
I don't remember it because I was the fat kid over there.
But yeah, I'm sorry about that, Johnny. I was such a bad person back then. I just remember something too in 4th grade. I think you were there, Johnny. But you guys remember Va?
Yeah, I remember Va. I went to high school with him too.
Yeah, but I remember we were playing something. I forgot what, but it might have been 4th grade or 5th grade, one or the other. So I'm totally
4th grade.
contradicting what I said earlier about getting along because I remember I got pushed by, I think it was Eric, and I got like really mad for whatever reason, so I pushed him back, and then we were like pushing each other real hard, and everyone like got between us, and I was gonna like sock him in the face like real hard, but luckily everyone like intervened. Otherwise, I would have gotten in big trouble. But
You would have got suspended, man.
Oh.
Get into a fight, Scott.
So it's okay if you push people, but it's not okay for others to push you.
like I said, I was like a really angry kid back then.
And then, of course, you guys have to remember this. You guys have to remember this game we always played, Knockout.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was, if you guys don't know what Knockout is, it's basically you're at the half court of the basketball court, right?
Yeah.
And there's two basketballs.
I think 3-point line, not. I mean, for elementary school, it's halfway. Yeah, but
Yeah, it might be 3 point. I have no idea. But
I think
I
it's
remember we're just at the
3-point line.
and you got to throw the ball as hard as you can.
Yeah, and
Dude,
well, you're trying to
that's
make
funny.
it, and then if the second person makes it before you do, then you're out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're out.
I remember so many shenanigans of us like tossing the ball at the other ball. It was hilarious.
I remember Johnny would. Oh, Johnny was a jerk to me. He would always get his ball and knock my ball out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm the fat kid. I had to run after my ball.
I remember some people even like kicked a ball or something. And we're like, no, you can't do
yeah.
that. You can't do that.
Yeah. Dude, knockout was a good 5th and 6th grade memory. That's what I mostly did.
Yeah,
I played knockout.
That was really fun.
Yeah,
Man,
that was very fun.
dude, talking
And
about
handball.
it, 5th grade was such a great year. Jeez, no wonder Jimmy regards that year in such.
Yeah, I remember it so well because it was a great year, man. It was fantastic. 6th grade was good too, but 6th grade was slowly getting into gaming because that's when the DS came out, right?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Everyone played Mario Kart.
Yeah, we played Mario Kart, and I remember.
We were all in different classes, right?
Yeah, I was in Whitehead.
I was in Miss Lau's class.
Yeah, and I was in Miss Chang. So
Yeah, so we got separated.
Yeah. I was right next door to Johnny, though, at least.
I remember I didn't hang out with you guys as much.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't hang out with the old group as much. Like, I hung out with the new people in my class.
You hung out with the smart kids.
Yeah, because there was something called GATE. I'm not sure what it stands for, but it was for like kids that apparently were ahead. So I honestly think it's BS because I don't think everyone there eventually did like super well or got all A's or something in high school or college, from what I remember. Because I kept in touch with most of us,
Right. Yeah. And Scott, I was supposed to be part of that GATE program. You know that, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was picked to go into GATE, and then I took the test. I don't know what happened. I was supposed to be in Miss Whitehead's class, and then last minute they moved me to Miss Lau's class. I felt so cheated, dude.
Oh man, dude.
I'm gonna go back and dispute that and be like, you guys owe me GATE. I'm supposed to get that title, but yeah, I didn't. Yeah, they picked me. I think I went in to take a test, and then maybe I failed the test. I mean, I wasn't that smart. Well, at least I didn't think I was smart.
Yeah. So Mario says GATE means gift and talented education, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So pretentious. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
But I didn't know that. That's interesting. I remember taking the test as well, and I guess I got in because like I ended up being there, right? That was the first year. That was the first
Scott,
year.
you're smart, man.
I don't know about that because I remember back then. I remember like I took the test in 4th grade or something, and then I was never actually part of GATE in terms of what was it?
Being put in the class.
Because you were supposed to go to those extra activities, I think, even in 5th grade. But I didn't do that. So I joined 6th grade. But 6th grade was technically when they started actually making a classroom for all the GATE kids.
Miss, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Miss Boyd just messaged me. She said GATE is BS. And yes, guys, Miss Boyd is watching this stream. If you guys didn't know, she's our 7th grade English honors teacher.
Oh, yo, what's up, Miss Boyd? Thanks for joining the stream.
Hello, boy.
Yeah, but
I did not have her for honors, but yeah.
Yeah,
You still had her though.
I agree. Like I said earlier, I kept up with everyone, and not everyone like breezed through high school or college. Everyone struggled the same way as people that didn't go to GATE. So yeah.
Miss Boyd says she's taking notes, and I hope you're taking it in Cornell style.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Another memory in sixth grade, I remember Mario Kart was big, right? And I was playing with Johnny, and Johnny's next door. His classroom's next door, and literally, I was like, hey, Johnny, go to the front of your class, and then I'll go to the back of my class, and we'll just continue playing.
Yeah, I remember.
Our DS is somehow still connected.
Oh, that's brilliant, guys. Yo, how did you
Yeah,
not
that
get caught?
Well,
Yo,
we
actually,
were having like a party or something that day, and of course recess was over, so we went back inside to continue the party, and because we did well on something or something,
Mhm.
and but do you guys remember the California state tests, the CST,
I think so.
Yes.
CSTs? Remember those?
that's
Oh
such-
man,
I remember something. I remember being the only student. See here's a contradiction to what you're saying, Jimmy, that I was smart in elementary school. I was the only kid that needed help with English in sixth grade in terms of the writing or grammar test or whatever. Because I remember Miss Whitehead always told me, yo, yeah, like, here's an extra paper. You got to fill this out. You got to do this. And I felt like I did better the second time around, but then like I always had trouble reading the prompts, or not the prompts, but like reading the passages because I got so bored. Like, you guys remember those tests where you have to read like an entire passage and then like answer multiple choice questions or something?
yes, I remember those.
Yeah,
I hated those.
I got so bored that I couldn't focus. So I would always not do well on those. But then for the math, I would always get perfect scores.
Yeah, Scott was very smart in math. I knew that. I also sucked at English. I was good at math too, but I sucked at English as well. I was also in, was it ESL? Is it called ESL? In third grade. I needed help with English in third grade. And yeah, they sent me to Miss Felix. If you guys remember Miss Felix, she was also another fantastic teacher that everybody wanted. She was right next to Mr. Siegel's class. But yeah, and I didn't care. I was like, cool, I get to have Miss Felix. She's like, cool teacher. I don't care if I'm stupid. I'm getting
Yeah.
taught by one of the coolest
Yeah.
teachers on campus.
It was fun being around like fifth and fourth graders. My cousin was in the same class as me.
I remember that.
Yeah, so interesting. But yeah, I would enjoy playing with all of them. I think I was one of the few people that interacted with everyone. So
Did you guys go through a Hot Wheel phase in elementary school?
Hot Wheel. I had Hot
I
Wheels,
was-
but
I was Hot Wheel crazy, man.
I mean, that's you and your car stuff.
That's
yeah.
true. I was Hot Wheel crazy, and I would always play on you know how the ramps to the classroom would always go down, and I was just like on the railing. I don't know. Okay, maybe it was just me that had a Hot Wheel phase. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you feel
Still got those Hot Wheels.
Okay, question. Here's the big question. We're bringing it back. Do you feel that any of what we experienced in elementary school, for us, it's 1 through 6. Some people, it's 1 through 8 or whatever. But for us, do you feel like those moments in Emerson shaped the way we are today in any way? School-wise, not even outside of school.
I'm gonna say no, man.
Not at all.
Not at all. I don't think so.
Johnny?
School wise, I don't think so. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. So yeah, nothing for school.
Interesting.
Man, we were just kids, dude. Like,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
kinda like, okay, I'm stuck in this place from 8 to 3, and
okay, how about outside of school wise? Because I think one thing for me, I started piano in fourth grade, I believe, and I still play to this day. In fourth grade, I had random teachers until I settled on one teacher, I think in either fifth or sixth grade. And then just kept going since then. So that's one big thing in my childhood that kept up with me that definitely made a big difference in what I do now.
Okay. For outside of school, definitely, I feel like we're in our elementary school, we were really diverse. And I'm learning from my workplace right now, like not everyone experiences that. You have people that grew up like where they only have like 1 or 2 minorities in their school, their entire school. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of grateful for growing up in such a diverse
I would
community.
say Emerson was pretty. It was mainly Asians, Hispanics, Honestly, I think wasn't Mason like one of the only white
Yeah,
kids?
Mason was one of the white kids, and we had one black kid. His name was Emilio. You guys remember him?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
not.
but we all got along. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like,
100%. We all got along.
Yeah,
But
there was never, you know, there was never like, oh, you can't play with us, or like,
yeah, it was never like that.
Yeah,
But
it was
just as
never
a
like that at our school.
statistical thing, I think that's just how our area was.
Yeah,
The Monty Park area.
and I remember I had lunch with Mason, and Mason always brought lunch from home, and I was curious because as a kid, an Asian kid especially, you always ate Asian food. And I was curious, like, what does Mason eat? And me and Mason would trade. Me and him would trade snacks. I would give him my Oriental snacks. Like
Yeah.
Hello Pandas or whatever. I don't know what they were. He would give me marshmallows, or he'll give me, like this. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And Emilio was the same thing. I would always trade up lunches and talk. We always got along, and we always learned. I was curious of how other cultures were. I'm like, so I was always, talking to Mason. I was always talking to Emilio, and all of her Hispanic friends. It was nice. I liked it. I had a good, very, very good childhood at that school.
Okay, I have no idea why this came up, but like I remember in Mr. Lamar's class, the last day, the absolute last day, we had he asked us if we wanted to give speeches or something, because we all wrote papers on something. I wrote a paper on Lincoln, and like he would go through everyone, and they're like, nah, I don't want to give it. No, I don't want to give it. For some reason, I decided to give my speech on my paper on the very last day, and I just like, it felt so boring to me. I was just reading off the paper, telling everyone about Lincoln, like President Lincoln, because I did a research paper on him in 5th grade. And then I remember Daniela clapped super loud after that. I was like, wow, it feels so good to have claps. Maybe that moment shaped me as well.
I don't remember what I did. Did I do a speech? I don't remember.
No, nobody did it except for me.
Oh, it was just you?
Yeah, because he went through everyone. Was like, do you want to do your paper? And they're like, no. And then, do you want to do your paper? And they're like, no. And then he went to me and asked me, and I was like, I felt so nervous and I felt so scared to say no that I just did it. Like.
Wait, was it for extra credit?
No,
I think it was for extra credit.
I don't think it was for extra credit. Yeah, it was just like we didn't have enough time, and he was just asking everyone, and I just happened to be the last one.
I bet you he wasn't expecting you to say yes. He's like, man, this is the quietest kid in the
Yeah,
class.
he probably wasn't.
I should have made him line monitor.
Should have made him line monitor.
Oh man, I should have made him line monitor.
He's not as quiet as I thought. Oh man, so sad.
Oh yeah, dude, that class was fun. It literally was fun. When the last day came out, it was very, very sad. I was like, man, can you be my teacher next year?
Did we have camp? Did we have camp in 5th grade or 6th grade? I forgot.
I think that was 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah.
Camp Tata Poposhan. Something I can't say. I still have the T-shirt.
Tata Pochan.
Yeah. Yeah, but
That was a good experience. That's a lot of funny stories there.
yeah, camp was when I talked to Mason like for such a long time. Like we escaped everyone. We went off the grid. We weren't supposed to, and we would just talk about like random stuff.
You know what? Do you guys remember the main room, the playroom at the campsite?
Yes.
So we had cabins, right? There were 3 cabins, and they split us up in 3 cabins or something, or 4. I don't remember how many cabins there were. But yeah, there's the main room where you can hang out and play. There was a bunch of games, food. Dude, I felt like a full-blown adult.
Yeah.
A 6th grader on his own, making his own decisions. Mom and dad ain't saying nothing. I'm like strolling in. I'm gonna have me an apple or whatever. But yeah, for the first time in my life at that campsite, I felt like I was on my own, independent. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's a precious moment right there, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember that. And we would play games until like late at night, 9, whatever, and then we'll wake up early, we'll go hiking and stuff like that. It was very, very fun. And I'm pretty sure Scott's gonna tell a story of what happened one of the nights in his cabin.
I don't remember it. You told me back then at the bat, right?
Yeah, the bat incident. I'm pretty sure Johnny remembers it more. I wasn't in your cabin. I was with AC.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things I remember, I'm pretty sure it was you, Scott, that had to like wake up in the middle of the night and go to the restroom. Was that you?
I think so. It's just such a long time ago. But...
Yeah, and then it was like a buddy system, so you had to go wake me up to walk with them. And like we were trying to open the door as quiet as possible, so we didn't wake up anyone else.
Dude.
And then we're like, do we push this door really slowly, or do we just like push it really fast in one go? And then Scott just like body slams into it, and like there's a loud sound, and everyone wakes up. And
yeah, I remember one of the days like Lakana woke me up, and it was so strange because I had a hard time sleeping, and he was right next to me and just called my name, and I instantly got up, and he was like, "Were you awake?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." but yeah, it was such a strange moment, just like instantaneously waking up.
Yeah,
I think
in my cabin I had AC. AC was top bunk. I was bottom bunk. And
when we say AC, we're saying an alias. We're not saying AC, the system.
Yeah, it's our friend AC. But no one in my cabin could sleep because of this guy right here.
Snoring.
Snoring, man. I snored. So I still have I have sleep apnea. So snoring is how I sleep. But yeah, I remember we had a supervisor or whatever, and he woke up the next morning. He's like, "What was that noise last night? I thought something was dragging something outside the cabin." Like, that was me snoring.
I got a comment. I had to kick Jimmy one time to wake him up so he stopped snoring so I can sleep.
Yeah. And of course, AC was there with his brothers as well. That was fun. I don't remember who else was in my cabin, but yeah. But
yeah, camp was fun. I remember I didn't like take a dump the entire time, so when I got home, I had to. I felt so terrible.
I did the same. I tried to attempt the same thing that you just said, where you hold it in. Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't do that. It's not healthy at all.
Again, the buddy system. I had to go with, I think it was AC. I think it was AC.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the restroom. And then, if you guys don't remember the boys' restroom, so dude, I think it was Scott. You kicked the freaking door and it broke.
What?
You broke one of the stall doors.
Did I? Dude,
no, it was actually me. Yeah.
Was it you?
Johnny?
Yeah, I kicked it.
Dude,
Yeah.
like someone was doing their business, right? And of course we're boys, and we're like, "Hey, why are you taking so?" And then one of us decides to kick that freaking door.
Johnny
Yeah,
just.
no, it's because the door was locked and no one was in there. So,
Are you sure? I thought someone was doing their business, like
No,
taking a dump.
No, it was just locked from the inside somehow. And
Yeah, Johnny seems confident about this. I don't remember kicking doors, bro.
yeah,
That was
hopefully they don't come looking for me.
But I swear, as soon as that door broke off, we all just broke down laughing, dude, in the restroom, just laughing the hell out. It was just so funny because Johnny broke the stall door. I don't know. And I remember, when I had to go do my business, I remember staring at that stall. I'm like, kind of laughed a little bit, and I went to the stall next to it. But yeah, that's another memory I remember.
I think school didn't shape me that much at all, and unless, I mean, Gate was interesting. My friends were interesting. Maybe Mr. Lamore. I mean, thinking about it, Mr. Lamore probably gave me more interest in sports and stuff like that, which led me to really like things in PE for 7th grade.
All right. All of us had Mr. Green, right, for 7th grade?
No, man. I had Hargroves.
Oh, that's right. You had
No. We don't say that here. No.
Should I say the other name?
No.
That's mean.
It's messed up, bro.
I think me and Johnny had Mr. Green, and we
Yeah,
had a good time.
Do we have the same period or no? I don't think
We
so.
did.
Do we?
Second, right?
Second, no.
No, I had it either
First.
before or after lunch.
I had first period.
First? Oh yeah, no. No. I think it was first because I think I'm remembering homeroom and then first period.
Yeah, so you would be in homeroom.
Yeah.
Of course, I felt so cheated that I wasn't in gate that I decided to sign up for Avid. So I got into Avid for 7th grade, and yeah, had Miss Altunian as my homeroom teacher, and yeah.
Yeah.
First period was Mr. Green, PE. Second was Miss Boyd, English honors. Third period was back to Miss Altunian for Avid. Fourth was Miss McClure for science. Fifth was math in Miss Altunian, and sixth was what was sixth? History.
I'm surprised you guys remember your schedules because I don't.
I kind of remember six. I think six was history. I had who was my?
Yeah, I really don't remember that much.
I remember I had Miss Boyd in fifth period. So yes, Miss Boyd.
Sixth period. I had Miss Zadie for history. There we go.
Wait, so me and Jimmy, we were in the same class. First of all, from Emerson to Garvey, basically. Garvey was our middle school. So our system is not 1 through 8 or K through 8. It's 1 K through 6 and then 7 and 8 together. And then we all went to the same middle school, which is called Garvey. And
Garvey Intermediate.
yeah, I think I loved Garvey. Garvey was really fun for me.
Yeah, I did as well. That was a very good time. And I was so excited to start middle school. Like, I was so excited for first day because we finally had periods, different classes. We had to go to different classes for different subjects. And that was a big change in school.
I mean, like,
all of us.
Meeting new friends also was a big thing.
And we had friends from we had friends from Hillcrest. We had friends from, I can't think of another elementary school. Willard. Willard. I don't know, but yeah, bunch of new people. So yeah, our small little Emerson class, which is where we built our foundation, and now we're getting intermingled with all these other people.
I felt like I always kept in touch with the Emerson people, in terms of like recess or any breaks. We would always get together and like just chill together and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time, middle school.
Speaking of periods, different periods, and like going back to roller backpacks, I remember I hated having roller backpacks while walking to different classes.
Surprisingly, people would kick them, right? Especially when you go upstairs in the main building.
Yes,
it was annoying, and at that time I didn't think roller backpacks were cool anymore. I was like, I got my JanSport.
see what I mean? This is what I meant earlier when I was saying by the time I hit 7th grade, like I thought roller backpacks, I was not gonna do them because I think I also had a JanSport.
We all had JanSports, man. That was the thing. That was in. That was in, man. When we were 7th graders, I have a JanSport. Oh man, you're cool, dude.
I think
I don't got that cheap Walmart stuff. I got the real JanSport.
Yeah. So I remember the first week of Garvey. I don't remember his name, but this guy in PE for some reason grabbed my water bottle, because you know how like backpacks have this pocket for a water bottle on the side. He grabbed it, he drank it, and then he threw it on the floor. And I was like, yo, why did you do that? Like, that was so messed up, like he looked at me and he was smiling, and I was like pissed off. I just like grabbed it from the floor and went to the next period. So my next period after that was math, I believe. 4th period was Miss Tang, right? Science, Johnny?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
I was next door, of course.
Yeah.
I was two doors down from you.
So for me, it was 5th period PE, and then 6th period was our last period, right?
Yes, for some grade, I believe 6th period was our last.
Yeah, 6th period was math, I think, and then during math class, or like one of the days, I was trying to like figure out this guy's schedule, or like trying to trying to see where he might have come from so that I could
Yeah.
like attack him or like beat him up for taking my water bottle and drinking it. I was so mad the entire time. I didn't even know what happened in class. Like I literally stood there hoping he would show up, and he never did. so I just went home after that.
I think 7th grade was when the bullying started, because I got bullied in 7th and 8th. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I almost got into a fight with a lot of people. Like I wanted to punch some people. I wanted to get into a fight.
Yeah, I don't know why though. Like it was so
Yeah,
so
I
strange.
don't know why. Yeah, just some guys were just douches, man. Like they were like call you names like
Yeah.
faggot or the B word, right?
Oh, man.
Or
I
yeah, but
remember
mostly.
I hope I'm not the one that dished it out. I don't think so. But yeah, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, but I got bullied real bad, and this one guy called me a faggot, and I was so freaking pissed off. I was so mad.
Oh,
And but I kind of thought, like, let's not fall for his trap, because he wants you to react, 'cause
Smart
that's what
guy.
he wants.
Smart guy. I
So I
reacted.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna act fucking weird, so you fucking leave me alone. So I started acting out weird shit, like weird, where it
That's
freaked
good.
him out. And yeah, he would just walk by me and call me a faggot. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. You call me whatever you want, dude. I'm not gonna give in to your
Yeah. I mean,
shit,
luckily, I think I was lucky that I didn't see the guy again. Otherwise, I definitely would have like attacked him. But because I didn't see him, I cooled off. And then the next day, like during PE, I was faster than him. I was better at him than like for everything in PE.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't care about this guy. Like he's just a bully for whatever reason. Doesn't matter.
Do you guys remember PE was very, very important to me, because we got lockers. Remember that? And we
Oh
got
yeah, that was
gym
interesting.
clothes.
Yeah,
Man, I lost my Garvey shirt. Where did I put it? But I moved. I think
I
lost
still have
when
it.
moved
I still have it. But
Yeah.
that was interesting, as well as what we did in PE. Like I love the running. I love Braveheart. Braveheart was one of the most fun things ever.
Braveheart was a fantastic game. Do you remember we played Brownie Ball in the gym, the brand new gym they built?
that wasn't open in 7th grade, I don't think.
That's right. I
Yeah.
don't think
So,
Scott was there, huh?
so I
for
moved.
Brownie Ball. Shoot.
But yeah,
Braveheart was fun.
Braveheart was super fun, and that's why I think this is what encouraged me. So this is another way where my past sort of shaped my future. Like all these fun things that I did when I was a kid, I would bring to, my parties when I was older. So other than this year, because we didn't have one because of COVID, but like every year I try to have like a birthday party, and I say birthday party, basically all we do is hang out at my house and go out to a park and do stuff together. So at the park, we'd play games like Capture the Flag or like Braveheart or things related, basically. So this was where my interest in like creating games came from, creating like physical games, because each year I would try to come up with like a new game, like new physical game that's basically a variation of Capture the Flag or some sort of running or some sort of like game I've played in the past. So yeah, definitely something that shaped me was all the stuff that we did, all the sports stuff and just exercise.
Oh, I did not know that. No wonder, because I remember whenever I came to your parties, I always had a good time, because there was always a set game plan for what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna play this. So all of us would adjourn to the park, and then we'll play that. And then I remember I would hang out at your parties till like it got dark, and we'd play another. We would adjourn again and play another game for the nighttime, which was sardines. Which I love sardines. That was one of my favorite games.
It's definitely getting harder to do that these days, to be honest, because like people have work and people just don't come in as early. Because I remember I used to start the parties like around like 10 a.m. and we'd end at like 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah, we go real late.
But like these days or these years, the past years, it's been like everyone shows up around 3, 4, or 5, and then we end at the same time. So it's interesting. Like I'd have to think about it to understand why that's different. I mean, could also be that I I purposely started later, but like also it just feels like people wouldn't show up earlier. I don't know. I have to think about
Scott,
that.
do you think? I mean, we're okay. I'm gonna say our age. We're all 25.
Hmm.
Do you think we can still do those things when we were like 13 or 14, 15 years old? Like just play all day long? Because I can't. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
get
yo,
tired.
I remember I would be so exhausted the next day. Like I couldn't walk the next day.
Oh, yeah.
After the party.
Because there was so much running and so much. It was a lot of physical stuff, but it was fun, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like.
You're probably right. You're probably right. We probably.
But
can.
do you feel the same way? Because I don't want to sound like an old fart or anything, but I don't think I could do that anymore. You know, like I guess maybe because I
think
work a lot.
in terms of activities throughout the day, I think I can do it. I think I'd be fine because at least before COVID, I would go to gymnastics 1 to 2 hours sometimes, and gymnastics is like super
after
hard.
work.
Sometimes it was like after part-time work, but sometimes it's just like Saturday or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or maybe my job is just very physical. That's probably why I feel this way.
Maybe.
Yeah. I feel very. My weekends are the time that I recharge my batteries for work. You know, because I stand at least 14 hours a day. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat as Scott, where that day I could probably do it, and then but the next day I'd be like, oh.
You would feel it, huh? Like, I think I could still do it. I'm pretty sure I can still go.
Yeah,
all day.
dude, we gotta keep it up until we're gone.
Can't do it no more.
No, I'm gonna try to have one every year. You guys are always gonna be invited.
Sweet.
And I've extended that invitation to a lot of our friends that have been friends for a very long time. It's really up to them, Like I've always been under the impression that if I've shared a bond with you, or if we've connected at one point, that connection is still there. We just have to care to bring it back, or like to reconnect. And for me, I'm always open to that. Anyways, we went on a tangent a little bit.
Yeah, that was, of course I go off tangent because that's just how I am.
No, I think that was me. But yeah,
I didn't know that's where you got your creativeness from, like creating games and playing board games, because I know you're very into board games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if that's where I got my creativity from, but that's certainly where I got inspired from. Like just doing those activities and having so much fun, I didn't want it to end, basically. So who's gonna set that up? Who's gonna actually make that happen? And I decided to do that because like no one else will, right? So at least that was the mentality I had back then. More so, I say that I grew into that mentality more so like when we had parties, like the bouncer at my old house, stuff like that. We were just having fun, and then like that mentality just kept going. I just wanted to have fun each time it was my birthday. It's something to look forward to and something to sort of organize. And I didn't view it as something for me. I viewed it as something where all of us could get together and just like do stuff together and enjoy the day.
It's a great reunion.
It's a good reunion because I'm like, man, because Scott moved away. I don't see him, and this is my only chance that I get to see him, and this is sort of
yeah. Moving away after 7th grade was one of the most like devastating things ever. Like I cried so much. Like I cried like every other day after I moved. But getting to see you guys continuously was like great. Like I thought I would never see you guys again, to be honest, like after I moved.
That's what I thought too. I was like, man, am I ever gonna see Scott again? Like I was pretty devastated.
Yeah.
Because we were losing one of the Musketeers. I was like, what we were supposed to go through high school and stuff together, and and graduate together and all these things. But I mean, it is what it is, and you had to do it.
Yeah,
to go.
it was super nice that one of our friends decided to make a card and have like everyone like write in it, and just yeah, it was nice to have everyone say goodbye basically. But it was
tough, man.
But luckily, you know, the tradition kept going, and I kept inviting you guys to my birthdays and stuff like that. So we stay connected. I think that might actually be the reason we stay connected. Cause like if I never did that, I don't think I would have like seen most of my old friends. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Very true.
Yeah, so it's a simple solution to keeping connected with your friends. Just hit them up and ask them to do stuff with you. That's it. Like invite them to stuff. I feel like trying to message them and talk is cool, but like actually inviting them to something and like a group event or like an activity is completely different, and like can make the difference of whether or not you guys catch up or not. Because most people have bad habits when it comes to like texting or messaging, or at least from my experience, like a lot of people don't respond, or a lot of people just don't give very considerate responses or thoughtful responses. So yeah.
I feel the same way, Scott, because you know I've recently been trying to catch up with a lot of friends, you know, and get to see where everyone is. I'm just curious, you know, like
you
know, we're all 25 now, you know, like shoot, like what have you been up to? And it's just nice, you know, to tell you, oh, you know, I've been up to this and that, and you know, it's great. It's a great feeling to know that your friends are out there with you, you know, in life, in the game of life, and they're doing their thing and you're doing their, you know, your own thing, and it's just nice. Yeah, we could just share our stories and experiences in life. It's fun.
That's why I like this as well, you know, because like we're talking about like all these past memories, and I do feel like even if we feel that a lot of our past memories don't really may have not shaped the way we are today, even though for me at least, like I named at least a fair amount of things that have shaped the way I think or the way I did things or why I did things. But even if you guys don't feel that way, reminiscing and looking back is still a nice way to sort of just remember where you came from and feel connected to yourself. And I think it's a good activity. I feel
definitely, because you got to remember, you know, like it's very important to know how far you've come. You know, like wow, you know, I've come a long way, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what keeps you going every day. And yeah, you always gotta look back in the memories.
That's basically what we did this entire time so far.
And surprisingly, I remembered a lot more
than I thought.
You know, because the past week I've been driving to work, and I've just been like racking my mind, like, you know, what happened? Like I don't remember these memories. And then suddenly when I'm with you guys and we're sharing our stories, I'm like, oh shoot, like, you know, things open up and I remembered more than I thought I remembered, especially 5th grade. That was a great year. Yeah,
which is great, because I don't know, I feel like I'm not going to project onto other people, but I feel like for me, when you guys know that I write about my days and like keep a journal, keep a log of what I do, right? So for me, if I don't do that, I just feel emptier, or I feel like my life is lesser in the sense that I have done less. When I look back and I remember all these times and moments, and like especially the ones we're sharing, which are like very happy and very fond memories, it just feels more full. Like my life feels more full, and I feel happier and brighter. So just something interesting to note. Like,
yeah, because sometimes in life you get so caught up in what you're doing. You know, like you're so caught up in your job, you're so caught up in finances. You know, you gotta, you know, and but yeah, this was definitely a real nice refresher for me. I was like, wow, like,
yeah. I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to share from 7th or 8th grade? I guess after I moved or during the moving time, because I think we breezed past that quite fast.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll tell you one thing. 8th grade felt funny.
Yeah.
it felt funny because you weren't there,
Oof,
and
thank you.
yeah, and me and Johnny sort of grew apart. I remember we kind of grew apart, and yeah, we went to high school, and yeah, I didn't reconnect with Johnny till well, when did I reconnect with you, Johnny? Was it during our college years?
I would say it was probably at the prom. Where we,
Oh yeah, that's right.
At
We
the
had
prom. Yeah, we'll probably talk
Uh,
more high school stuff in the next episode, but
Okay.
yeah, after the move, I was definitely 100% like there's two moments in my life where I feel like I could have been depressed because I don't know for sure, because everyone's definition of depressed seems elusive to me. But if there are two very, very sad moments in my life, one of them was definitely after the move and just like starting completely all over, having no friends, being the weird one in the school because, like nobody knows you because everyone has friends from 7th grade, but then 8th grade comes and like they all already have their friends and like me being the new person. But yeah, luckily I made friends and I felt a lot better over the years, but over that year, 8th grade. But for sure, I was like 100% super sad for the first like month or something.
Yeah, and we met those friends, right?
Yeah.
At the parties, yeah, we met your friends.
I remember there was the day where I visited you guys. I think it was the first day of Garvey, in 8th grade when you guys had school the first day. I remember Brittany, our friend Brittany, giving me like a big hug, like literally after the bell rang and everyone left, and I was just saying hi to everyone. But it felt weird because most people might have not known that I moved, and then like they saw me like coming from a place that wasn't from the school, so like
from the school.
I guess I missed the first day. Was like what people might have thought, but yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Brittany helped me so much throughout that time. Like she would call me and talk to me and like leave me voicemails and stuff like that. Like that's why I'm like so grateful to her. Like just remembering everything that she like helped me through.
Yeah, she was definitely a very sweet person.
Yeah. If you ever listen to this, like you are like you have earned my unconditional love.
I would actually like to catch up with her one day, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, she played Among Us with us that one time.
Yeah.
I don't know if
did she? I wasn't there.
Yeah, maybe you weren't there. Maybe you
Yeah.
you joined later. Maybe.
Yeah, I would love to catch up with her again. Oh man, but she's just far away.
Yeah,
for now, right? So I don't know.
we'll see how things go in the future. Like I said, my philosophy earlier, like I'm always open to reconnecting with old friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not like you need to make like constant contact, right? Like some people, for them, that's a big thing where like you gotta constantly talk with them. But I feel like for like with you guys, even if I haven't talked to you guys for like a couple weeks, when I do talk to you, it's as if we never like stopped talking.
Yeah, I think it's because we feel, or at least for me, I feel like we have sort of made that unspoken sort of connection or deal that we don't have to always constantly talk, and we'll always be buddies like for life,
Yeah.
That's the way I think, basically.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I guess
That's
we
a
always
nice thing.
we always pick up where we left off. I guess you can say. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, but I think so even through 7th and 8th grade, do you think those moments shaped you at all, for this moment, like how you are today, I guess?
I'm still a no, man.
No.
Middle school was good
Not
for
at
me.
all.
Yeah. I've definitely been through a lot, and middle school wasn't one that's very significant to me or shaped me into who I am.
Yeah, I think the move definitely made a big impact in my life because it
Yeah.
happened like at the same time as my parents' divorce and everything like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just like
At the time, I didn't know you were going through all this stuff. If I had known, I did not.
yeah,
Honestly, Scott, I didn't know that your parents were separating and all that. I
I
just knew that you were moving, and I didn't know why. I was like, why?
yeah, I
Because
kept to myself about those things back then. To be honest, I don't think I fully understood everything that was going on either. Um, I was definitely a very, very like angry, um, sad, just so many like negative emotions that any positive emotion or positive thing that people did for me was just so like helpful, basically.
yeah,
That's why I feel like the friends that I kept in touch with after I moved, I felt so like, I don't know if you guys remember, but like every time after the party, I'd be like, oh, I love you guys. Like, I, I freaking miss you guys. Like all that stuff, because I was so emotional about it because you guys kept in touch with me even after I moved. You guys decided to come to the party even after I moved. And like back then, my house is like 40, 50 an hour away from you guys. So,
And Scott, I always wanted to come, but I just didn't know
how to get there.
arrange a ride. Yeah,
Exactly. So that's why like when you guys did come, it was such a special thing,
yeah. And I think Johnny helped me out my first time. He picked me up, and right, Johnny.
I mean,
remember it was you.
when we couldn't drive, like I asked my aunts
Yeah.
and uncles to pick you guys up, if you guys remember.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, that was great. And that was very, very good memories that I will always remember. you know?
Yeah.
I would say most of the people I still keep in touch with are from 7th and 8th grade. So I feel like it's been a bigger impact than elementary school for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it was like short, right? 7th and 8th grade, that's just 2 years.
Yeah, and then after
Something
seventh,
about
eighth, we would get separated to two separate high schools. So that was
Yeah,
heartbreaking
that's
as well.
weird.
Because I lost Johnny. I went to San Gabriel. He went to Marquepo.
Yeah, but that is
So that's
that is for next time.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
for our next podcast. But
I think we can end here. I think that was a solid reminiscing session. Like we talked
Yeah.
basically a lot of our memories from 1 through 6 for sure. I definitely think there's a lot more for 7th, but maybe we'll mention it eventually. But
we might bring it up in the next podcast.
Yeah.
The transition into high school and but yeah, man, it was 7th grade. I don't know. It didn't really shape me. I guess I didn't have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I made a lot of friends.
from the just to draw conclusions from our sample size of 3, one of us is like, piano started early on. That definitely shaped me. Moving, that definitely shaped how I thought about my friends, because losing so many of them, because in 7th grade I felt like I was friends with like everyone. I felt like I made so many new friends and connected with so many different people, and then after that, like most of them I just stopped talking to, and then some of them I kept in touch with, and those are the ones that I'm still friends with today, basically. Or at least I still try to reconnect once in a while. But after that, besides that, I don't think there's anything in elementary or middle school that really shaped me that much, other than the inspiration from like playing Braveheart or PE, stuff like that, Mr. Lemore's like activities. Just those are the things that I feel I learned from, that I still apply today, or still have influence on me today.
Yeah. I feel like elementary school and stuff, or like middle school too, is like back then you were building your interest in things, so like hobbies and stuff. I don't think necessarily like career wise, maybe some of us
Yeah, I
Like-
mean,
from then know what we want to be, but it's just that's something I later on, I think. But definitely like interests came from elementary school, and it was built from there.
Man, I must have had a really boring childhood because nothing like sparked my interest in.
I think you just don't have many interests, but you have a really big one. You know? You're like cars.
I was just always into cars, nonstop cars. I just wanted cars, more cars, and cars.
Cars.
Read about cars, I was just so into it, man.
Yeah, well, we will definitely get into stuff like that pretty soon. Thank you guys for joining us. Like, this was definitely an interesting test. It's not my usual podcast. My usual podcasts definitely have like a bit more. So far, I've never done like a 3-person podcast, right? So, technically I have with Blue Lotus, but that's like talking about, there's always like a topic centered around a topic. For us, this is more freeform. This is more like we talk about whatever we want, which technically I do with another group, but it's still centered around like entertainment and media. So maybe I do this, but I've never streamed this. There you go.
Okay.
I've never streamed this. So this was an interesting experience in terms of that, like getting to see the chat.
Chat's pretty funny. Yeah.
I wish I could read it.
Yeah, this was fun. Let us know if you guys have any questions for us, because I will upload something on YouTube for my Dreamlet channel. You guys can check it out. It's somewhere on my about, or you can just type in Dreamlet on YouTube and you'll find it. And my social media stuff is, as you can see right there. But let me know if you guys have any questions for us or have any suggestions in terms of things you want to hear about from, say, like school or our hobbies, or like what shaped us to how we are today. Anything, we'll find the best questions and answer them, or even just answer all the questions, to be honest. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You guys got any closing thoughts, or want to say bye, or before we
I just want to thank
stream?
everyone for joining, and thanks for the support.
Yep, definitely. Thank you for watching this first podcast with us, and appreciate chatting with Miss Boyd right now. So
What'd she say?
She says thank you for inviting her. She says thanks for inviting me. Very insightful, very nice young men.
Awesome.
But yeah.
All right, for sure.
She says she wished she knew how to get into the chat. Because she says she's yelling at the screen.
Yeah, I mean, let her know how to do it next time, and I'd love to like interact with a past teacher. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy that Miss Boyd, she still keeps in contact with most of her students.
Yeah,
and,
that's super cool.
And surprisingly, we didn't really bring her up much. She was our 7th grade English honors teacher.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I wanted to cover a bit more there, but like we've gone on for 2 hours almost. So
yeah, it's kind of 2 hours. I wish I could bring more light into it. Maybe in the next podcast.
Yeah, we can definitely bring up
when we transition from 7th to 8th to high school.
Because I think we didn't really focus on any academics, really.
Yeah.
So I think
random memories.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely get more into that in high school and college, because like that stuff comes up way more,
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
That.
But yeah, for sure.
That'd be more interesting.
Primal Royalty says he loves you, Johnny,
Oh,
and he's your biggest
thank you.
fan.
Thanks for the love. I appreciate it.
All right.
I love you too.
All right. Thanks, guys. Peace out.
All right. Thank you, guys.